Revelation 1413, from the 11th of May 1940. God is love. Divine care in earthly life. God is love. And love often leads you wonderful ways so that you reach Him. And one day you will recognize His love and His wise guidance, and you will praise Him and thank Him without ceasing, and you will pronounce His name in most blessed admiration and remember the time on earth in exceedingly great gratitude. And the heavenly hosts will join in the hymn of praise that resounds to the constant glory of God. This divine love takes care of you and gives to each one what is conducive to his salvation. And now you will understand that you are never without divine care. His will directs you, and His care is only for you, who are His creatures. In this certainty you can go through earthly life carefree, because every step is marked out for you and determined by His infinite love for you. And if you only raise your eyes to Him, every step must also be a blessing for you. It must bring progress to the soul. It must be done, to become what is your last destiny. Because your earthly life is only a phase in eternity. It is the necessary course that leads from one stage to another. The earthly life cannot be passed over, how everything must be as it is. Because the divine Creator recognizes it in His wisdom as the means to the end, as the only way to the height, which means unimaginable glories. And this walk through the earth valley is an act of greatest love and mercy. By offering all possibilities to the beings which are tremendously far away from God, to approach Him until the final unification. No being can arbitrarily reach the highest maturity from the greatest low, that is, even the infinite love of God cannot reduce this distance of His creatures, because this would completely contradict divine wisdom, divine laws and divine order, and therefore could not produce anything perfect. Every being must develop itself to the height, and for this, the love of God gives it every conceivable opportunity. It wants to make the highest happiness accessible to the being and is therefore constantly endeavored to form the being in such a way, that it can become partaker of this happiness. And everything that serves the being for its higher development, is assigned to it by the love of God. Only divine love lets the being suffer, because every suffering reduces the distance from God. And every approach to God is a state of happiness. So the being must take suffering upon itself in order to reach happiness. It must go through a limited time of being under the spell in order to be able to live unlimited times in freedom. It must have gone through the work of creation in order to receive divine power and to increase itself. It must have striven for the union with spiritual power, to be made happy by the fulfillment one day. It must have recognized the being's origin out of God, desire to go back to Him and fulfill the conditions which result in unification with the eternal Godhead. And thus is divine love constantly endeavoring to bring redemption to everything that has come forth from Him. Amen.